So obviously you know what One Piece chapter today. The brief discussion I had on Monday when I uploaded the One Piece special episode that we're going to get on October 1st. By the way, that link is in the description box below. Plus, in that video is also an interview with the chief editor of Weekly Shonen Jump when it comes to, like, I guess, the body of work when it comes to Oda, and looking at fan theories that people make in the One Piece fandom. And of course, I briefly mentioned certain things, how that could relate to Pedro in the recent chapter of One Piece. But I want to expand on that because obviously I do want to ask the One Piece fans and comment down below about this. What do you guys think about Pedro? Do you think he's going to come back? And what do you think is going to happen beginning into Wano? Now, as we know, it's been pointed out for weeks on end that we are heading to the land of Wano in October. What we don't know is when specifically in October it's going to begin. But before I get into that, there's actually some huge news that came out today regarding yesterday when it comes to, like, the One Piece manga. So several major Japanese news media, including NHK, Asahi, Maichi, and Sankai, and Nifun TV. I'm probably butchering those names, but reported on Wednesday that a Kumamoto Prefectural police arrested 5 people who posted scanned pages of Ichiro Oda's internationally popular One Piece manga and Sui Ishida's Tokyo Ghoul on their Nataba spoiler site. So I actually read about this on Anime News Network. Apparently, they were, like, charging money to upload these on these spoiler sites, and they got busted for it. So it just expands a bit further here. Before the magazine official release day, it marks the first arrest case for an infamous manga Natabara site in Japan. The suspects are 30-year-old male self-employed worker of Okinawa Ihara, probably butchering that name, who had 2 accomplices, including a 23-year-old female freelance writer from Totoro and 31-year-old male web designer from Akita, Ryojo Hotai, who acted in coalition with 33-year-old female partner. But what it says on Anime News Net, basically, they've been taking, like, the copies of Weekly Shonen Jump before they're released, taking the scanlations and trying to charge them online for certain spoiler sites. So they got busted. So that could affect certain websites when it comes to early releases. So that's out of the way. I want to get into the speculation of what could happen in Wano, what could happen leading into Wano, because right now that's the anticipation is a mile high. But by the end of Whole Cake Island, like I said, what do you think about Pedro? Do you think he's done for good? Do you think we're never seeing him again? Or do you think there's a possibility that Oda may not pull the trigger and we may see him down the road? So that's my first question. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. So I think it's fair to point out, we know where we're heading when it comes to obviously Sanji and teaming up to make the cake for Big Mom. Obviously Chiffon's with them, which, by the way, is going to lead Capone obviously to protect his wife, because obviously he's not going to abandon her. So Capone's obviously going to be in the mix. We still have the Vince Smokes when it comes to, like, they're heading for the snail ships with Gemma 66. So I don't think they've left yet. I don't think so. Obviously there's the loose end of Pound, and obviously Peckham's have to show up as well. They have to show up. So let me know in the comments what you guys think is going to happen with all those loose ends being tied up by the end of the Whole Cake Island. Now, after that, we're heading for the Reverie. Now, because we're not so sure when in October, if at all, an arc begins, because right now, the way that Whole Cake Island arc is, you either think it had been wrapped up like a month ago. No, it's still going on. There's still obviously a few chapters left. There's obviously a few chapters in the volume that's coming out right now. So obviously that's going to play a factor. So let's say 3 chapters plus, right, until Whole Cake Island's resolved. That'll be enough time. Then you have the Reverie, which, to be honest with you, if it is about 3 chapters plus, that's going to be disappointing, because it's much like Wano, it's a very built-up thing. It's been built ever since Dressrosa, where big discussion, big topics are discussed when it comes to like events that's going to happen even after Wano in the story of One Piece. So a lot of people have been making speculation the revolutionaries are going to attack because we're heading to Wano in October. I don't think that's a possibility now, but unless it's like a setup for after we get to see what happens with the Reverie after Wano, then I can say, okay, there's going to be an arc. But as of right now, the main focus for Oda is to get to Wano because he obviously wants to start on the 20th anniversary. Obviously, the hype in Wano is real. Now, a lot of things that I want to see personally. Number one, by that point in time, including a new Nakama, we should have potentially every single crew member of the Straw Hats reunited for the first time since before Dressrosa, and that includes Sanji. So, I don't know. It's obviously set in stone that Jinbei is set to join. I don't know if Carrot's going to join as well. That's a possibility, given what we just had with Pedro. So, let me know. Do you think Carrot is also going to join? And like I said before, I think just as much as Jinbei, we need another girl on the crew. There's too many guys already. So, that'd be kind of nice to get two for the price of one. And by the way, regardless, Luffy's going to make allies anyway because we have one hell of an alliance heading for Wano to take on Kaido. Are they ready? Hell no, they're not. If anything we've learned from Whole Cake Island when it comes to Luffy versus Big Mom, no. Luffy's not ready, at least with the crew he has right now. So a lot of things can change. Oda can pull the plug on Kaido by the end of Wano, but he's already specified he doesn't know how to end the fight with Kaido and Luffy. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. So my first prediction is this. I don't think Wano is going to begin with the crew being together again. I don't think so. I think what's going to happen, you're going to see what's going on with the other half of the crew, led by Zoro, what's going on with Wano. Now, last we heard, they were on Wano. They said they were going to wait for Luffy, being the patient part of the crew, until they reunited with Luffy. But obviously, with what we saw in Whole Cake Island, the plan was for Luffy to infiltrate Whole Cake Island so they can get back Sanji. But plans went awry very quickly because of Pudding and because of other shenanigans as well. So I don't think Wano's going to be any different. So remember what the editor said. Now, I'm maybe overhyping this, maybe not. What the editor of One Piece came out and said, a bunch of them said, this will be on the same level, if not better, than Marineford. So that's big shoes to fill. Potential is there. You have most of the Supernova. A lot of people assume every one of the Supernova is going to get involved, like Capone, possible. Bonnie's going to show up, even a Rogue. So that's a possibility. I just want to point out it's important to know out two things. Number one, even though we're dealing with Kaido, we are still in the midst of the Versus 4 Emperors arc. So anything that could happen here is fair game. Anything could happen with Oda. So I would not be shocked if we get to see more than just Kaido on Wano when it comes to the Yonko. We may see potentially all four Yonko play a role on Wano. And the second thing is we know Marco's coming in, right, with Nekomushi. And there's a possibility that Shanks could be with Marco because the way that Law stated in Punk Hazard, the way to survive in the New World is you align yourself with the Yonko or you try and take them out. Marco got decimated dealing with Blackbeard in the Payback War. We know Marco and Shanks are kind of tight or close. They're not enemies but such. So that's another way Shanks could come in. Or what we've recently seen in the cover story with Bartolomeo screwing around with, I guess, a village or an island that's under the Red Hat Pirates. So that could play a role. And a lot of people in the One Piece fandom have made theories speculating a certain Yonko who may show up at the end of Wano. I'm going to tell you who that is by the end of this discussion. So right now, obviously, we're going to find out with Zoro. Will he be pushed to his limits? Yes, absolutely. I don't think it's going to be Jack necessarily. It's going to do that. A lot of people want that fight to happen, but listen, I think it's kind of obvious that Jack is not the right-hand man of Kaido because of what we've seen with Katakuri. And because his bounties now. Bounty, a lot of people want to include bounties when it comes to like power levels and want to compare bounties with power. Not necessarily the case. Jack is an anomaly because obviously he's a 1 billion because he's the only devil fruit user who's able to survive underwater. And Katakuri is the only person who can train his observation hockey to predict the future. And he's above Jack. So my gut feeling is this. I think there's going to be another calamity higher than Katakuri. It just makes sense. It just makes sense. And that's going to be the one to go up against Zoro. It could be Jack, but I just because of what we got with the Minx with Neko and Wishi in Inuyarashi. And by the way, the Neko and Wishi's coming in with Marco, so that's even more hype. And possibly the last remnants of the Whitebeard Pirates, because if they're there with Marco, odds are they're going to show up. So that's going to be cool if and when they decide to show up. Like I said, if it's anything like Marineford, Luffy will show up midway in the arc, like he always does. Right now he's dealing with Katakuri, so he's going to, one way or another, he's going to be maxed out. So he can't go to Wano like that. So it's going to take some time to recover. It's going to take some time to get there. Don't expect Team Whole Cake Island to join up right away. I think that's going to happen midway through the arc, and that's where crazy shit's going to happen. I mean, crazy stuff is happening already on Whole Cake Island, and like I said, if Pedro has been killed off, that would set the tone for what to expect on Wano, because I think bloodshed and a main character death is incoming. Whether it's Law, whether it's Jinbei, it doesn't matter. I think it's coming. I know a lot of people don't want Law or Jinbei to die, but let's deal with the fact if Pedro is dead, dealing with Big Mom. Granted, he did sacrifice himself to help out the Straw Hats escape the fleet of ships under the command of Amande. Then I think it's possibility that we're going to get another death in Wano, and it's been foreshadowed ever since Jinbei when it came to Marineford anyway, because Jinbei was ready. He literally took a hit from Akainu to the heart to protect Luffy. Granted, it went through him, but the gesture was made there, and ever since it's been foreshadowed that Jinbei would. I mean, he already said in this arc, it's not a question of if, but when he would give up his life for Luffy. Or there's a possibility that Law could die. I know a lot of people have thrown that around, that Law may use his immortality somehow to save Luffy if he can't defeat Kaido. A crazy theories going around, but obviously Zoro's going to get a one-on-one fight. That's for sure. We're going to get to see most of the Supernova, even though most of them, like Kid, are fucked up. Hawkins and Killer, because we didn't see them. We only saw Apu, and we know what happened to the Kid. And we know the rest of the Straw Hats, alongside the Samurai. Momonosuke isn't there right now. He's staying with Inuyarashi, which is probably a good thing. Now, another thing that's come to mind, and this is when it affects the Reverie, and this is the last thing I'm going to bring up. You got to throw your comments down below. Let me know what you guys think about what's going to happen on Wano. What do you think about the ending of Whole Cake? And the final thing I'm going to bring up is a lot of people thinking that Shirahoshi is going to play a role kidnapped because obviously Caribou obviously knows about Shirahoshi being Poseidon, obviously the ancient weapon, and we know for a fact he was captured by Drake. So that information is going to get back to Kaido, and I get the feeling that somebody is going to snag Shirahoshi. Although, remember, the borders are closed out from the outside world, so the whole point is to open up borders. The moment that happens, I think that's where Kaido's going to strike. And this is it could happen in Wano, but I get the stronger feeling that's going to happen after Wano, because that's Kaido's trump card. Let's say, for instance, it's a draw between Luffy and Kaido, okay? God forbid if that's what happens, okay? Because obviously there's going to be an alliance between the Supernova against Kaido. Whether or not you think it's enough, that doesn't matter. It's a possibility that could happen, okay? So after that, because Kaido is possibly immortal, so either he dies in Wano because somebody else is going to show up, or Kaido is going to find out about Shirahoshi through Caribou. They're going to get somebody to, or maybe even Kaido may show up to kidnap Shirahoshi, and that's going to lead to a second conflict between Luffy and Kaido down the road. If Big Mom doesn't go down in this arc, do you honestly think that Kaido is going to fall on Wano? So, and if Kaido does fall, it may be because, and I've seen this thrown around a lot, that Blackbeard is going to show up because his ability has the ability to affect or negate Devil Fruits. If Kaido's Devil Fruit allows him to be immortal, he's going to negate that Devil Fruit, kill him, take his Zoan type, and that will be it. The trilogy completed. He would have a Paramecia, a Logia, and a Zoan type Devil Fruit, and that would probably make Blackbeard the most broken character in One Piece. So that's it from me. Let me know what you guys think down below. What do you think is going to happen in Wano, and what do you think? And what do you guys think the end of Whole Cake Island should be? Not what you think it's going to be. What do you think it should be? So comment down below. Like the review. Like I said, like this video if you did. Subscribe to have more One Piece. Catch you guys later. Bye.